Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice is the second film in the DC Extended Universe, and it stars Ben Affleck, Henry Cavill, Amy Adams, Jesse Eisenberg, and Gal Gadot. And just so you know, this review is 100% spoiler-free, and I'm planning on doing a spoiled-filled review sometime over the long weekend. Now, I liked Man of Steel, but I didn't love it, and even though it's gotten better for me on each viewing, I still have some major issues with it. But overall, I thought it was a pretty decent start to the DC Extended Universe, especially when you consider how difficult of a character Superman can be to portray. So yeah, I didn't go into this movie with high expectations, but I was really hoping to be surprised. But sadly, that was not the case, because this movie was okay. But before I get all negative Nelly on you guys, let's talk about some positives, and the biggest one being Ben Affleck as Batman. He nailed it. He was wonderful as both Bruce Wayne and Batman, and I love how they gave us an older Batman who we haven't seen before who's damaged. I thought they did a great job throughout the entire film of showing us Batman's motivations for going after Superman. And Affleck was so good at conveying those emotions. I think they found a really good balance of telling us enough about the character so we understand him while still keeping enough secret, which for me has me really excited and intrigued for a Batman standalone movie, which I'm really hoping will be directed by Affleck. I really like Jeremy Irons as Alfred. I thought he took a good new spin on the character, and I love that he has sass. And him and Affleck had great chemistry, and you bought into that relationship right from the beginning. I thought Gal Gadot, for the amount that she was in, was very good as Diana Prince and awesome as Wonder Woman. But I will say this, the way in which Wonder Woman is revealed really had me wishing that the marketing campaign had not told us that she was in this movie, because the audience would have went nuts. And even though he isn't in it very much, I really enjoyed Laurence Fishburne and thought he had some great witty lines. And for both Henry Cavill and Amy Adams, I didn't think they did anything overly spectacular, but they did a solid job. Finally, I thought the action was beautifully crafted, and the main reason why you should see this movie in theaters. It was visually stunning and really well choreographed, and I mean, you're watching Batman fight Superman. How can that not be awesome? Now, my biggest issue with this movie is the story, starting with the runtime. Now, I understand on paper, with everything that they had to jam in, why they thought it had to be 2.5 hours, but the way in which it was delivered, it did not have to be that long. There was just quite a few shots and a couple scenes where it's just like, that doesn't need to be there, that doesn't need to be there. You can take that right out, so you just really feel that runtime. Also, there are so many moving parts in this movie, and I think in the first act alone, I counted 4 or 5 different things going on. And say what you will about Man of Steel, at least it was focused. So yeah, you really need to focus when you're watching this movie. Forget about going to the bathroom, because you'll miss too much and be super confused when you come back. And that's not to say different things going on in a movie is a bad thing, but does not work in this movie, and in the end it just feels jumbled. We would get to certain aspects of this movie where I'd be like, oh right, I forgot about that, because we spent the last 20 minutes focusing on 4 different subplots. Also, this film is actually a pretty slow burn, which is weird to say for a superhero movie. You'll never be bored, it goes at a quick enough pace for you to be interested, but never fast enough for you to be totally enthralled in this story. Which is fine if the payoff is worth it, but in this movie it's not. The villain is totally shoehorned in, and if I'm being completely honest, the last act is a bit of a mess. Amy Adams' character feels forced in the last act with this object that she has and then doesn't have, and I just feel like had they taken her out of that act, it would have strengthened the movie. Jesse Eisenberg, I was worried when he first got cast, and I guess my worries were warranted, because I did not like him as Lex Luthor and definitely feel like he was miscast. It's the kind of Lex Luthor we have never seen, who is very psychotic and OCD, and while I appreciated that they tried something new, it did not work, because that was not Lex Luthor. Also, if you have seen the movie, please let me know what his character's motivation was. I was trying to figure it out throughout the entire movie. The only thing I could come up with is that he wants to kill them, just because he's evil. Which, if I am right that his character had no motivation, all it would have taken was 2 to 3 minutes of backstory for his character. Also, another thing I did not like, but I know hardcore fans are pretty much gonna hate, is that Batman kills people. Like, he actually has a gun and shoots them. And that just throws his whole moral dilemma with killing people out the window. And I understand this is an older Batman and maybe he has changed, but it is never addressed throughout the entire movie. And the ending, without spoiling anything, as this movie was wrapping up, I actually thought that DC had the balls to do something pretty amazing. And then they didn't do it, which made everything leading up to it pretty pointless. Overall, I thought this movie was okay. Didn't like it, but didn't hate it. And I thought the majority of the performances, especially Affleck's, were great. And I'm very excited for a Batman and Wonder Woman standalone movies, But yeah, the story was pretty weak, jumbled, and uneven. I'm gonna give Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice a C. Despite the grade, if you are a fan of this genre, I still recommend you go see it. It is worth it for the action and the performances alone. Plus, I feel like this will be a divisive movie, so maybe you'll love it. But if you're an average moviegoer, just wait till this comes out for home media. If you have seen this movie, please let me know your spoiler-free thoughts in the comments. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, or you can just click right here to see more.